during the pandemic, of course. The ability of the school to sort of adjust and pivot when we had to switch to online learning was phenomenal. And I think what it told me is that this school is so prepared to manage different situations and future situations that may come up.
I'm Agnes Stowicki, Managing Editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading private and independent schools to bring you insights into school programs, culture, traditions, and leadership. This includes insights from parents, alumni, and administration. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
So it's interesting because there are a wide variety of options that are out there, and we know how competitive it is to get into these schools. And so we started looking at the different schools that were available to us a few years before we had planned to actually, start the process. I think our biggest, criteria was we wanted the kids to be challenged academically, and so did they. So we were looking for a school that would be able to do that, and to have an IB school, we really thought would prepare them for post-secondary education. I think secondly, we were also looking for something near where we lived. We were living in the beach, so that also sort of limits our options as to what we could easily access or drive to on a daily basis. And then hopefully at some point, the kids could take transit there. So that was part of our sort of decision-making process. And then lastly, we have 3 boys. So we were really looking for a co-ed school that would sort of meet those needs of giving them a more diverse experience. They've actually really enjoyed it. I mean, I think there's always nerves starting in the middle of middle school or in the junior school. They started when they were in grades 5 and 7, and to join in where they didn't know anybody in their grade, they were very nervous, and as parents, we were very nervous for them as well. But the school was so welcoming, and that was one of the things I really loved about it, was that they really had an amazing onboarding, procedure to kind of welcome new families and new kids. So we were paired up with an existing family that we could liaise with over the summer, so that when September started, I felt comfortable and my kids felt comfortable because they already had sort of like a ready-made friend, but at least somebody who could, show them the ropes. And I think that was a huge part of making us feel comfortable when we first started. And they've done great. So this is now their 3rd year, and they are really enjoying their time there. So I think, definitely they were being challenged at school, which was great. They've responded well to that. And I think one of the biggest things that I love about this school is actually the faculty. The teachers are quite incredible, in the way that they support the children and support the parents. There's open lines of communication. They're quick to identify if there are areas of success or areas that need more support, and let the student know first, and then move on to the parents, if we need that extra sort of involvement. There's also a really obvious caring from the teachers. They're not just sort of going through the motions, but they really do value the kids and want to support them and see them succeed. And so I think that is something that the kids enjoy having, like they're not afraid to be able to, to talk to their teacher about challenges that they might be having in school. So I think that would be the biggest thing. And then of course, being at school, the best part is all the activities, right? So despite the last couple of years, the school has really done an excellent job at trying to make it as fun as can be and promote school spirit and have activities within your cohorts or within your grades, as best as possible. And I think the kids really appreciated that. So as a parent, I think, like I said, I'm so appreciative of the great education that they're getting, the wonderful faculty and staff. I love about the York School is that being an international school, there's a lot of families and students who are here, who have come from abroad and are here for 1 or 2 years or here for 5 or 6 years. So it really adds a different dimension to the classroom, the dynamics, and the sort of interplay about how we are living in a very big world that is so connected. And so because of that, you get this exposure to different cultures and people who have a different perspective. And I think the school really tries to encourage kids to push themselves to explore and look at different perspectives and to be curious about the world around them. And so I think that's a really important part of the school. And I can see that in the way they, teach the kids, how they communicate with the parents, and how they really try to foster that feeling. And so I really appreciate that part. I think they really do try to promote diversity, inclusivity, which again, in this day and age is so important. And sometimes you don't always see in independent schools, depending on where you're located. So I think the school does a really good job at trying to support that. So I think one of the things I didn't really realize is how well the school, a couple of things. One, how the school stays connected with the parents. They really do make an effort to communicate really well, which is great because, my boys don't tell me very much about what's going on at school. And so, whether it's emails from the principal or the weekly sort of school blast that goes out that literally lists off everything that parents need to know if you can't get it from your kids. So I think that piece is really important. I also found during the pandemic, of course, the ability of the school to sort of adjust and pivot when we had to switch to online learning was phenomenal. And I think what it told me is that this school is so prepared to manage different situations and future situations that may come up, and not just like a general pandemic that affects everybody, but issues that are specific to classes, to kids, that they find a way to sort of work through it and resolve it so that it's as big of a win-win for both sides. And I found that they really made an effort to make the learning conducive, supportive, and really made sure that the kids, again, the most important part, got through this okay. And then I think the other thing I really like is the parent community at the school. Again, during a pandemic, there wasn't a lot of opportunity for all of the class parent get-togethers or the grade get-togethers, but the school really makes an effort to keep the parents informed, encourage the parents to do outside of like outdoor activities with other parents if possible. We would have online chats, sort of, or a WhatsApp group to sort of stay connected. And I think families really appreciated that, especially newer families, right? Who maybe some who had never got to even step into the school during this whole process of COVID. And so the parent community and the parent council, they're fantastic. So the big values of the school are really about this, experiential learning. And definitely I see it in the way that the kids have to answer questions and how they have to look at issues and topics from different perspectives. And, for my boys, it definitely pushes them outside of their comfort zone. And it's been so fantastic to kind of see that become more of a way of looking at things overall outside of school too, right? So I think the school really wants you to look at things from a global perspective. So I do see that, and just about encouraging students that when you are part of a global community, then you need to be caring and knowledgeable and engaged, and you have a social responsibility, right? Not to yourself, not just to yourself, but to your community at large. And I think the school really does try to promote that. And with my boys, I really try to encourage that at home as well. And I do see sort of their attitudes shifting and just a different way of seeing and interpreting things. And then lastly, again, diversity and inclusion. They've really, in the years that we've been there, recognizing different, religious backgrounds, different cultures, different holidays and feasts, how people feel individually. Everybody's recognized, and they really make an effort to make sure that people feel open and able to be who they are and not be judged. And I think that's really important. I think most families are, parents who want their kids to do well, and parents who want their kids to sort of have an open-minded, sort of diverse, global sort of education. A lot of the parents do live in the sort of midtown, downtown core, because where the school is located, it's like an urban school, right? Right, like basically Yonge and St. Clair. So you're really seeing families who sort of live in that sort of radius. There are definitely people who are commuting from north of the 401 and from, Etobicoke. But I would say that most of the families are sort of in that area. I think the two things that my kids, they would both be proud of is doing drama, which is not really in their comfort zone of subjects. And I think it goes to show that they feel comfortable enough with their peers to be able to, freely participate and, really put themselves out there, doing, performances that they would normally never do, especially kids, between the ages of like grade 7 and 9, they're so self-conscious, and for them to do that, we had an opportunity to actually see them do a performance recently, and it was fantastic. So that was something I would have never guessed they would have gone into, but they were very proud of themselves for both of their performances. So the experience with the teachers has been fantastic. They really do show a lot of caring and supportive and encouraging mindset in terms of helping the kids inside the classroom, supporting them outside of the classroom if they also require that. And then of course, in anything extracurricular, they are amazing resources for the parents, and they are always willing to connect, very open to getting an email or, setting up a phone call so you can chat with them about your child if you have any concerns. And that they really do have their needs and their success, at heart. And then going beyond that, I find that all of the different like middle school principals and the senior school principal, and then of course the head of the school, also very open and supportive. Like I wouldn't hesitate to send them an email if I needed to, but they're always so approachable, which I really appreciate. Three reasons to attend this school. I would say that it is a wonderful co-ed IB diverse international school in downtown Toronto. There is an opportunity for an incredible education that will really prepare your child for post-secondary education. And your child gets to go somewhere where there is so much supportive teachers and faculty who really want the children to thrive. And the school spirit is also fantastic as well. That was a fourth thing, sorry. So I would definitely visit the websites of the schools. If the school can connect you with an existing parent, even just to sort of chat candidly about what their experience has been like, sort of off the record, just to kind of hear it from someone who's already there, I think really is helpful. I would also say if you have the opportunity to go visit the school, I know it's been hard for a couple of years, but if you have that opportunity, take it, because sometimes you don't know till you walk into the school and you look around and you go, wow, this is where, you know, I can see my child being, and for the child's face to light up and go, this is awesome. And this is where I want to be. And you can kind of feel the energy and the vibe when you walk into the school. So there's certainly, a huge benefit to having that piece. But if you don't have that, because it's not always available, I would ask to connect with the parent, either like in your child's existing grade or incoming grade, so that you can just have a conversation.
For more information about this school, you can visit their profile at ourkids.net.